The Obama administration and the outgoing Bush administration try to sort out the foreign policy challenges. There are also the domestic ones led by the ailing U.S. economy and the troubled financial institutions. The president-elect went to Capitol Hill today to meet with Democratic congressional leaders to talk about the second half of the $700 billion bailout fund. This comes on top of an economic stimulus plan that Obama wants and will cost upwards of $775 billion. With the dollars and the budget deficits mounting, some fiscally conservative Democrats are asking, how much spending can we afford? Congressman Jim Cooper of Tennessee is a member of the Blue Dog Democrat coalition. He joins us now. And Congressman, answer that question. How much can Congress, can the American people afford? How much would you be willing to vote for?
Well, David, you're right. We are deeply worried. Every American should be, because we're getting so deeply in debt, and our lenders like China, folks like that, are getting colder and colder feet about lending us more money. We don't know how much our credit limit is, but with trillion-dollar annual deficits, with probably $56 trillion plus in cumulative liabilities, we're in a deep of trouble.
Congressman, some well-regarded economists say that the $775 billion number that Obama's proposing as far as infrastructure spending and whatnot is simply not big enough. I mean, here's Paul Krugman, Nobel Prize-winning economist. He writes, Mr. Obama needs to make his plan bigger. To see why, consider a new report from his own economic team. Even with the Obama plan, the Romer-Bernstein report predicts an average unemployment rate of 7.3% over the next 3 years. That's a scary number, big enough to pose a real risk that the U.S. economy will get stuck in a Japan-type deflationary trap. Are you willing to accept unemployment figures that are over 7% for the long haul? And secondly, would you be willing to see a roughly $800 billion plan balloon up to 1.3 or 1.4 trillion?
I do not think Blue Dogs want to see a much larger package. Now, Paul Krugman is a very excellent economist. He's won the Nobel Prize, but that does not give him a monopoly on wisdom. Among economists, he would be probably on the left end of the spectrum. Why don't we start with Barack Obama's package of about $800 billion, and let's make sure it's a clean package with not a lot of pork in it. We need to stimulate jobs, not re-election of congressmen.
Well, having said that, what about the argument that if a certain portion, as it stands now, 40% goes to tax cuts, then out of an $800 billion package, you may only be talking about $450 to $500 billion that's actually spent on infrastructure, on sort of government creating jobs. Is that a problem?
Well, Barack Obama has said he wants shovel-ready projects, science-ready projects. So this isn't a wish list for congressmen and senators. This is a way to get jobs actually created in this spring, this summer, not next year. So I'm thinking that there are probably not more than about 100, maybe 200 billion of those jobs that are available right now. Otherwise, you're talking about a congressional wish list. Already on the Hill, they're talking about adding all sorts of things to the bill, essentially using this bill to hide a lot of congressional dirty laundry. And that would be a serious mistake. Blue Dogs support the Obama administration in having a clean, tough, tight, temporary stimulus package. But let's not go beyond that and fill it with a lot of pork.
And then, Congressman, the other issue, of course, that Barack Obama is asking Congress to deal with is this second tranche of the TARP money, the money that was used to sort of lubricate the financial institutions. Congress is now getting ready for another $350 billion to give to the Obama Treasury Department. Are you okay with that?
Well, the bailout is essentially stopping the bleeding. That's stage one of the process. Stage two is the stimulus, rebuilding our economic strength. But what we really need to focus on, David, is diet and exercise, a long-term sustainable lifestyle for our country so that we are living more within our means. We need to address the entitlement and tax expenditure problems that so far Congress has not faced up to, but President-elect Obama has. He's mentioned Medicare, he's mentioned Social Security. We need to look at those longer-term liabilities, because that's ultimately where America's credit rating is going to be determined. So I'm hopeful that Congress will step up to all three problems, not only step one, the bailout, step two, rebuilding our strength with stimulus, but most important of all, step three. I've proposed a commission, the so-called Cooper-Wolf Commission, so that men and women of goodwill on both sides of the aisle will start addressing these problems, and Congress will have to vote on it instead of continuing to duck these problems. Most Americans don't realize that the Bush legacy is about $56 trillion of economic borrowing, economic obligation, liabilities, and very essential, very important programs like Medicare and Social Security, which we simply must keep as strong programs. And the best way to do that is to prepare for the needs of retirees and beneficiaries. And right now, Congress is ducking those responsibilities.
Congressman Jim Cooper of Tennessee, a member of the Blue Dog Democrat coalition. That is a coalition that, for all of you watching at home and are going to follow the politics of all this, that is a coalition worth watching in the weeks and months ahead. And Congressman, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Still ahead, our muckraker of the day. He has 4 compelling reasons why Congress